It's easy typically to get patients back in during a reactivation campaign because they already chose you once before. So it's really easy for them to choose to come back in and see you again. Just remember, you're their health coach, their personal guide on their journey towards health. And so you don't want to abandon them. You think, they're not there and it's because of them. Sometimes it's because you haven't reached out and you haven't contacted them. So, out of sight, out of mind. And that's, where the reminders come back into play.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. If this is your first masterclass, my name is Angie. I am a senior advisor here with Proactive, and we're hosting the masterclass with our one and only executive partner, Dr. Layton. How are we doing, Dr. Layton?
Outstanding.
Amazing. Good to hear. So I hope everybody's having a good morning. Today, we are going to be talking about just ways to reactivate your patients, just building your practice from within. This is an aspect that a lot of doctors tend to kind of overlook sometimes, and even I can admit that sometimes we just look at our losses as losses, right? But it's in this case, we're basically trying to emphasize how we can kind of shift our view of any patients that are lost. We're looking for ways to kind of reactivate them and then bringing them back in as an active patient. So yeah, we're going to dive deep into that. Dr. Layton, whenever you're ready, you have the floor.
So reactivation campaigns are a great way to inject some life back into practice. So you're an established practice, you have a big database, and you have some patients you haven't seen for a while. You need to fill your schedule up. You notice some patients that have been MIA, you want to get them back in. Reactivation campaign is a good way to do it. You should have a practice that's patient-centric. Patients should be front of mind, and tapping into that database, getting them back in for care. It's easy typically to get patients back in during a reactivation campaign because they already chose you once before. So it's really easy for them to choose to come back in and see you again. Just remember, you're their health coach, their personal guide on their journey towards health. And so you don't want to abandon them. You think, they're not there and it's because of them. Sometimes it's because you haven't reached out and you haven't contacted them. So, out of sight, out of mind. And that's, where the reminders come back into play. You should run a reactivation campaign every 3 to 4 months. It's a good way to stay in touch. You should already be doing, text campaigns, email campaigns that you're doing on a regular basis to keep contact, but then doing those ones that are specific towards reactivation. So as you're providing care to your patients, you're developing trust, you're giving exceptional care. And so you're building a relationship with those patients. And as you build that relationship, you're establishing this back and forth between the patients, and so they come to trust you, and so it's a lot easier to get those people back in. They just need to get back in touch with you. So again, quick way to inject life back into your business. So it's been a long time. So why would patients ever stop coming to your practice? You've got the best practice in the world, so why aren't they all just coming all the time? I will tell you some of the stuff that we've experienced. Some of the patients, they hadn't seen us for 2 years, and all of a sudden they come back in. We hadn't seen them, and it's because COVID. They hadn't left their house in 2 years, and so all of a sudden they're like, I couldn't take it anymore. My back's killing me. I've been working from home. I'm no kidding. And so you get them back in. They'll tell you life got in the way. So they got busy during sports season. They've got 3 kids, and they're running 5 different directions to get their kids to all different sports. So the time commitment, maybe you do a lot in your office with rehab and stuff. They don't have time to come in and do that. So they just want to come in for an adjustment. So the time commitment is too much. Finances. And so we try to always work with finances and find a way to make care affordable. Missed appointments, they fell off the map. So, once patients start to miss a few appointments, maybe work, got crazy, whatever, all of a sudden, again, out of sight, out of mind, you want to put your practice and their care front of mind, so that reactivation campaign is a good way to do it. That lack of contact, they need constant contact, constant reminders. So those texts that go out that you're sending, the emails. If you're doing a newsletter for your practice, doing a monthly newsletter. Then educating your patients. So when they're in, educating them, talking about care. So who should you contact? I love reactivation campaigns because I'll sit around and I'll be thinking like, oh, I haven't seen, Bob in, try a month or two. What happened to Bob? So go up to the front desk, like, hey, we need to get the reactivation campaign going. We normally have it on the schedule anyway. It's going to be something again, like I said, every 3 to 4 months. But you start going through. I like to contact the patients that I really miss, the ones that, like, as I going through, like, oh, I haven't seen this person, I haven't seen that person. So be kind of choosy. If there's somebody that you don't really enjoy, you don't connect with, maybe you don't want that person to be contacted and bring them in the office. It's okay to be picky and choosy. So typically you're wanting to reach out to patients you haven't seen for 3 months or more. You can create a theme and contact patients that fit that. So maybe, here running season is just really kind of picking up. So maybe you want to contact all your regular runners and marathons. It's in the fall and, football's wrapping up, and so you want to reach out to all your football fans. It could be that, you treat a lot of, say, Blue Cross patients, Aetna patients, you have good payers. And so maybe you want to go through your database and create a report of all your patients in the last 12 months that are Blue Cross patients. And so anybody within inside of 3 months, they should be in active care anyway. Anybody that's, 3 months and further out that maybe isn't in active care, they haven't been in, you're reaching out to those patients. So, kind of pick and choose how you want to do it. Obviously, you don't want to, you don't have to like reach out to all your pro bono patients. You're trying to get the paying patients back out, the live ones. And so, something to always kind of keep in mind is that, unfortunately, we live, we die. And so you're going to lose some patients along the way if you practice long enough. And so, you need to get those patients off your active patient list. So you're not marketing those people. It's kind of sad if, you're sitting at home and all of a sudden you get a postcard or a call that's, for your lost spouse. So, be mindful of that. You need to take some patients off your active marketing list, your active marketing campaigns. So you're not sending stuff to them and basically creating kind of a negative connotation when your stuff comes into their home. Again, you don't want to contact everybody at once. If you've got a database and, it's 10,000 people and maybe 9,000 of those you haven't seen for a while, you don't want to reach out to all 9,000 at once. You're going to overwhelm yourself and your staff. So, put it in doable chunks. Maybe you have 20 to 50 people you want to do right now. Maybe you want to do, you've got a list of maybe 250 to 300 people, but, you're going to release it in chunks of 50 and you do 50 a week. But do manageable amounts. So I really encourage the doctors to create the list, or you can delegate it, but tell them how you want the list created. Get the necessary information. So if you're going to send it out and you want to do it via email, then do your email list together. If you want to do text, if you want to do postcards, I'll bring that up because I love doing the postcard. Then create a goal for the campaign, short-term and long-term. So, you want to see, 50 reactivations over the next 2 months. And that's a fairly safe goal to create. What's your long-term goal? You want to get those people on active care plan. If you can get 50 people in over 2 months, and maybe you can get 25 of those, so 50% back on an active care plan, or maybe you can get 50% of those converted to like a maintenance care, whatever it is. And then you need to be accountable because you set the tone for your staff. So you help create the campaign. You're checking in with them, making sure your campaign's running well. Let them know that you care and you want to see it go well. So what's the best way? You have to do what works for you, your style, your practice. So again, postcards. I love doing postcards. Part of the reason I love doing postcards, whether it's to say, hey, where have you been? We've moved. We haven't done that one obviously for a while because we haven't moved the office, but that was a good one when we did it. But postcards, people don't tend to throw those away. They may stick it up on the refrigerator. So maybe they're not thinking of you today, but they are thinking of you and they're like, oh, I'm going to put this away. And, when I do need it, when my back hurts, I'm going to give them a call. So you're on their fridge. And so every time something comes up that, they need you there, that you're there. Just make sure you're always following up with calls. That's why calls is on here sometimes. You do your postcards and you should have your staff following up with those people you send the postcards to. Follow them up with a call. Send out an email reactivation campaign. Follow up with all those patients you call them. You do a text reactivation campaign. Again, follow up with a call. Your social media posts, you can do reactivation campaigns that say, hey, we haven't seen you in however long. Let's get you back Those are a little more general. It's typically not patient specific, but it's to anybody that's in, say, on your Facebook, on your Facebook page for your business. Letters, my least favorite, so that's why they're at the bottom of the list. One, they cost more than a postcard. Two, it tends to be too lengthy. Postcard's easy, it's right there. They don't have to open anything up. They see it, they can flip it over, all the information is there. Letters, they have to open up an envelope. A lot of times letters get shut. So again, I think postcards are better, letters. But the personal reminders, you're in the office and you're treating Bob and like, hey, Bob, where's Jen? You know, so where's his wife? Where are the kids? So engaging with your patients and as you talk with the patients about, you know, their care, but also talking about their family members' care, their coworkers' care, their friend. Hey, you know, I know, you know, you used to bring in, you know, Steve with you, and you know what happened to Steve, kind of thing. That call to action. So making sure whether it's postcard, email, text, whatever it is, that you should always have the call to action with your reactivation campaign. Hey, call, get in the next week, whatever it is. And then develop a protocol and stick to it as long as it works. So you may try a reactivation campaign and try something for you that you know you wanted to see if it was going to work. You dip your toe in the water to test it out, and maybe it worked and it was great, and so you want to do it again. If it doesn't work, then scrap it and do it differently. That's the reason I really don't care for the letters. I've tried a letter reactivation campaign. It didn't do well for me, and so I don't know how much of it was the content and the letter, but I just know it didn't do well, and so I don't really care to do a mail piece like that. Again, the postcards have worked well. Patients will say, God, I've had that thing for like, you know, a year and it's been sitting on the fridge, and so my back started hurting, so I called and got in, or like my kids were hurting, whatever it was. So what are you supposed to say? You can let them know that you're offering a new service. You got a new team member. You changed your hours. You're just letting them know they've been missed. Hey, I haven't seen you for a few months, and you know you were coming in, things are doing better. What happened? So you're keeping in contact with them, maintaining that relationship, back and forth flow of the dialogue. So whoever it is that's contacting the patients, make sure that they're comfortable on the phone and that they know the patient. So if you just hired somebody new, that's probably not the person that you want doing your reactivation campaign. They don't have any relationship, no rapport with the people they're reaching out to. For me, like Christina, she's been here for a long time. She knows the people. She's really good at greeting patients when they come in the door. She gets to know them. So, you know, she's really good at getting on the phone and then getting people back in. She's great at that, the reactivation. So remind people to make time for themselves, take care of themselves. Nobody else is going to make that kind of time for them, so they need to do it themselves. You understand that they get busy with their life. And so, you know, whoever's on the phone, when they say, you know, I just got really busy. And so their response back should probably be, I get it. You know, I get really busy too. When can we get you back in? So, you know, kind of flip it around. I get busy too. So you're being relatable to them. That life gets in the way sometimes, but they need to take care of themselves. And then being genuine. So I'm not one necessarily always to use something that's already done as a script. Develop something that's your own, so it comes off, it's more natural. You want to be personal. So that same script doesn't necessarily work for every single person you call. So making that call personal, like, you know, hey Bob, you know, I know you and Jen were both getting in, and you know, whatever happens, oh, you know, she was at the hospital with COVID, and so she just got out. Yeah, we need to get back in. She's hurting. Okay, well, they're going to appreciate that you reached out. So again, being genuine, it improves your odds. Whoever it is that's contacting those patients, you want to make sure that they're assertive. They shouldn't be afraid of rejection. If somebody says no, hey, I'm not interested right now. Okay, well, you know, we're always here for you whenever you need us. You know, and thanks, and we'll talk to you later. And then for your staff, money talks. So you know, you want to give them a list of whatever it is, 20 people, 50 people. What works for you? Is it giving them $5, $10 for everybody that they can get reactivated? So giving them a little bit of encouragement, and because you know too, as those people come in, you're going to be making more money too. So it doesn't hurt to give your staff a little bit more on the front.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Layton. Yeah, and as you guys can see here, they have chosen you once. The good thing is that they've experienced you before. So you guys have already gone through the ice-breaking process, the initial appointment. So now it's just a reminder for them to come back inside. So I don't really have any questions besides maybe like telling me what out of all the methods that you listed to reactivate a patient, what is kind of like your number one method to reactivate them?
The easiest one is when we just do a phone reactivation campaign. So, I'll go through, create a list. Maybe I'm sitting back and I'm doing my drawings on my x-rays. And so I start scrolling back through x-rays from patients, from the last, say, I'll look back 3 to 6 months and going through, no, I haven't seen this person, I haven't seen that person. So I just start writing down names, and I'll know from their x-rays, this person was coming in for neck and upper back, this person was low back, this was the shoulder. And so I make that list. And so then I give it to the staff, like, hey, can you reach out, call these people, figure out where they're at, why they haven't been in. And it normally goes really well, just doing the phone calls. If you want to back it up and do a bigger campaign, and the postcards, again, I love doing postcards. I always get great ROI on these.
Awesome. Yeah. It sounds like definitely from our end, the easiest way to reactivate a patient is just creating a campaign, putting all the contacts that you just mentioned, and then sending them an email and a text, which is something that we do internally here. You can also, we've done a couple of master classes that we mentioned, places that you can build campaigns like that. I know MailChimp is one of them. You can build one even through ActiveCampaign as well. So if you guys are also looking for other ways to reactivate patients, definitely review this video. There are a couple of other resources to check that out. And if you would like to, definitely drop a comment below, just addressing which activation campaign has worked for you best, or any questions that you have in regards to either building it or what you should do. We're here to help. We have the entire team here for you and Dr. Layton to answer any questions. As always, thank you so much, Dr. Layton, for the amazing presentation, and I hope everybody has a great day. Oh, I almost forgot. Before I forget, we do have a birthday shout out here in Proactive. It is our president's birthday, El Presidente, Mr. Andres Ariz. So if anybody wants to wish him a happy birthday, you can also comment that below. We'll also launch a birthday shout out later today, which you can interact with as well. Thank you so much.